Hi, hello. This is Tutor from Uplatz training. Today, we will be learning about the continuation of your basic settings in SAP S/4HANA. So, in the last class, we have done with the financial accounting settings and we have done with the fiscal year. Now, here we will be learning today about the posting periods variant. So there are a few enhancements compared to your ECC version in the posting period variant also. So let us get into the menu path. Let us update or let us make our T codes on the screen itself. So go to additional information on menu path. In the IMG screen, select additional information, select display key, IMG activity. So we would see the transaction code. And the menu path for the posting periods variant is SPRO, SAP reference IMG, financial accounting new, financial accounting global settings, ledgers, fiscal year and posting periods. Then we have posting periods and the first concept. So here we can see the enhancement. Earlier in the ECC version, we would have only defined variants for open posting periods where you decide or where you define the variant for the posting period variant, and the same variant will be assigned to your company code. Then we maintain open and close posting period. So open posting period is one of the control in SAP where we would mention there itself when to open and when to close a particular period. Here we don't have any chance or any no chance of maintaining duplicate entries or maintaining the past or post dated entries. If at all, if you missed an entry in the last month, then in order to make that entry posted in the present month, we should have an authorization to open that particular period, because here when we talk about the 12 posting periods and 4 special periods, all the 16 periods would not be open in all the periods, that is in all the months. For each month a period will be open and the succeeding or the preceding 11 months or preceding 15 months will be closed. So in order to open a previous month, here we need to have an authorization code which is created by your basis consultant and given to you the authorization code. Then we would enter into that particular configuration. So here we would first now define the variants for our open posting periods. And the transaction code for the same is OBBO. Click on IMG activity. So I'm sorry, the posting period variant T code is OBBO. New entries. So yeah, like your company code, even the posting period variant is also defined with 4-character alphanumeric key. So let us maintain. Let us give the same code which we have maintained to our company code. So here we have maintained 8888. So let us define the posting period abbreviation. So posting periods for your company. So it was a company name, brand new company. Enter, save. Save it in your request. So quickly, let me create this data. As it is a remote server, so there are chances that whatever data we have saved in that particular request, that might have been transported. So if the data is transported, you may not be able to view your company code. So but still it will be there in your database. So that is why I'm just creating in a short span. So company code is also same. So we can see it says that already the company code is available. So let us check. So it would be in alphabetical order and your numerical order. So as we have given 8888, so let us check in that series. Yeah, so already there is there. So let us go with some other company. Save it in the request. So let us make the assignments here. Click on position, give your company code, enter. Save it. Save that. Select the row, double click on periods, new entries. Seven. 9, 10. So here we have given the dates. 29. So the third month. So period, as we know. Year shift. Enter. 12, 31, 90. Enter, save. So this variant we would be assigning it to the company code. So assign company code to your fiscal year variant. So let's click on position. Give your company code, enter. Now take your fiscal year, enter, save. Now let's come back to our posting period. So now here we are in define variants for open posting period. So we have successfully created the variant. The same code 8888. Yeah. Now let us assign the variant to the company code. So the next configuration is assign variant to company code, and the transaction code for the same is OBBP. Menu path SPRO, SAP reference IMG, financial accounting new, financial accounting global settings new, ledgers, fiscal year and posting periods. Then we have assign variants to company code. Click on position. Now let's give the company code which we have created, hit enter. So it has taken us to the very first row, variant. So here the variant is, we have created it as 8888, enter, save. Nothing but you are assigning your posting period to your company code. Save in the request. Now let us configure open and close posting period so that you're updating the system that when to open a particular period and when to close that particular period. And the transaction code for the same is OB52. Click on IMG activity. Click on new entries. Now initially, if you observe here, it is asking for the variant. Variant is nothing but the variant which we have created. So we have created the variant, hit F4 and select the variant. Next field talks about account type. So here A says all about account type. If we hit F4, we find different account types over here. So first plus says valid for all account types. A says all about assets. D customers. K vendors. M materials. S GL accounts and V contract accounts. Now in the training session, we would be updating account type as plus. But in real life, you will be working with the single account type. For example, if you're working with the customer department, then you're going to give it as D. If you're working with a vendor department, then you update it as K. And if you're working with ledgers, then GL accounts, it would be S. But as if now, we would go for plus because plus is will have a valid for all account types. Now here from period 1 is the first period. Year, the current fiscal year. Period, year, and 13. 13 is nothing but your next period. 16, as we said, we have almost 16 periods. So that is what we have updated here. So in this way, there are two periods segregated. One period consists of your 12 months or 12 periods, and the other one consists of 4 periods, which are defined to create or to go for month-end or clear and closing activities. Enter, save. Enter again. Go back. Now the next configuration is all about your so the extra concept here in the enhancement for your posting periods is open and close posting periods according to your GL account assignment objects. So here we are going to talk about here GL account assignment objects. So let us open and close periods according to your GL account. So here we maintain the GL account data specifically given for GL accounts. So automatically, let's say we would always automatically assign the cost center for your GL account. So here it would ask you a variant. So we have created our posting period variant. So for that particular posting period variant, we are going to assign the GL account. So what is a GL field name here? So always a standard talks about your accounting assignment objects would be a cost center. So as if now we will give business area, later on we will change it to cost center. So let's see where this particular field name will have effect. When you do postings, this will have effect. Enter, save in your request. Go back. Now let's get into the field status variant. So next concept what we're learning is all about your field status variant. So here field status variant is a control where it will control or it will organize a particular field to be required, particular field to be saved, or particular field to be optional. That configuration we would do it here in field status variant. And here it is also defined with 4 characters, but we copy all the standard fields from the available standards, that is 0001 here. And here we do have different sort of fields, and each field will tell you about the required, optional and suppressed concepts. And a particular ledger postings is defined with your field status variant. So let us define the field status variant. The depot for the same is OBC4, and the menu path is same. Click on IMG activity. So select 0001 row. Click on copy as. Remove 0001 and give your own code. So I've given the same code. Click on copy all. So this we will be doing this step again in your general ledger accounting. So here I'm just creating a variant and keeping aside. In general ledger variant, again we will be configuring. Enter, save, enter. Now assign company code to field status variants. So click on IMG activity. Now we will be doing this particular field status configuration again in your general ledger. Now next concept is define ledgers for general ledger accounting. So here now this is the extension concept in your SAP S/4HANA compared to the ECC version. So define ledgers for general ledger accounting. So menu path is same. Click on IMG activity. Now here, so here we know that we have already in ECC, we learned about the leading ledgers. So here we will be talking about the non-leading ledgers as well as the extension ledgers. So 0L or OL is always your leading ledger, which follows your Indian accounting standards. And we can still define the non-leading ledgers in order to maintain the segment reporting for different countries reporting purpose according to their particular laws and laws and rules. So here the totals table for all the ledgers would be Fagel Flexit, but this particular configuration will be saved in again in AC docket table. So here we would define another non-leading ledger. So let us define some other apart from your leading ledger, we will define one non-leading ledger here. So click on new entries. So let us define our non-leading ledger as NL, non-leading ledger. So let's say non-leading ledger for your company. And this is your totals table. Enter. So it would give you what are the information have to be done for this particular ledger. Just read it, hit enter, save. Enter, save in your request. So here this information, it will give you that the ledger group NL is created only with ledger NL. So why this information we will be learning in the further steps. So whenever you create any ledger group, non-ledger group, so it says that it has been created the ledger with the same code. So what is that we will see in the next continuation steps. Enter. Go back. Now the next. So we know that we define currencies, and this in compared to ECC in S4HANA, we can define with 8+ different currencies for a one project, so that we can view in 8 different currencies the reports, right? So now here we define the currencies for your leading ledger. So define currencies of leading ledger: SPRO, SAP reference IMG, financial accounting global settings, ledgers, ledger. Then we have defined currencies of leading ledger. Click on IMG activity. So click on new entries. Now company code. So this is your company code. So update your company code. Enter. So always the local currency would be your company code currency itself. So as we have defined the company code currency into INR, so always the local company code currency, as you update your company code, it will fill it up. So you can see your first local currency is your 10. 10 indicates your company code currency, and our company code currency was INR. So valuation is what we go with the legal valuation code. If you hit F4, you will find it. Then always the exchange rate type would be standard translation average rate. So the average rate for your exchange rates would be M. Then screen currency, it would be 1, which is nothing but translation taking currency as a basis. So when you're doing currency valuations, foreign currency valuations, it would take transaction currency as a basis. So whatever transaction currency, it can be INR, it can be USD, it can be GBP. So when you're doing this transaction currency, it will take basis as your that as a base. Then transaction date type is also your translation date. So on which day you're translating, that date it will consider. Now let us define the second currency. So second currency will be always your global currency. So global currency says, or global currency or group currency. So it is 3. Enter. So whatever currency you maintain here, that only takes place. So here we can see so it is the group currency what we have to select here, enter. So it would give you information that whatever changes you're doing this is not allowed in the live system. So just you need to enter. Then valuation. So here also the valuation type would be your legal valuation. So it is legal valuation is always with 0. So 0. Exchange rate type. So here also we should update the exchange rate type as M. So when we hit F4, we can see the exchange rate type. We can define the exchange rate types, but the standard says all about M. M says about your average rate, standard rate. Source currency, hit F4 and select the source currency details. So always the source currency details, what we go for is translation, taking transaction currency as a base. Then transaction date type or translation date type also would be the same, nothing but your translation date. So there will be document date, posting date, but usually the day on which you're doing the currency translation, that is usually preferred in general practice. Enter twice. So we can see error has been disappeared and the data is saved. So the second local currency, all we are talking about USD. Then the third local currency. So the third local currency what we go for is 40. That is your hard currency. Enter. Then here all the same parameters. So your valuation would be legal valuation. Hit F4 and select your valuation. Your exchange rate type would be M. Standard translation at average rate. Then your source currency, same 1. Hit F4. Then transaction date type would be 3. So your translation date, enter, enter. So usually your hard currency should be GBP, but maybe there might be some changes in the currency valuation. So it's still taking your USD, no problem. Enter, save. Now, for example, if we want to add some more currencies, still we can make an addition. Let's see here. Save in the request. Yeah. Now when you go for next entry here, we can see. Okay. So it is not allowing right now to maintain the currencies other than third local currency. So that we have to run a program over there and then we have to edit it, the currencies. So enter, go back. Now define and activate your non-leading ledgers. So we have created the non-leading ledgers, right? So now here you define that non-leading ledger. In the first concept, when we are creating defined ledgers for general ledger accounting, there it was given a confirmation that NL ledger is created with NL ledger only. So that concept here it applies. So define and activate non-leading ledger, SPRO, SAP reference IMG, financial accounting global settings, ledgers, fields, ledger, then we have define and activate non-leading ledger. So now here you have to give your non-leading ledger code. Hit F4 and select the code. So we have created as an NL. So let us select NL code. Here we are, NL. Enter. New entries. Now you are going to assign your company code as well your currencies to your particular non-leading ledger, so that you can view this report based on your non-leading ledger in different currencies. So this is also called as one of the segment reporting aspect. So give your company code. Now always currency one would be your company code currency itself. That is why this is in uneditable mode. So we cannot edit here. When you hit enter, it will update your company code currency itself. Now currency 2, hit F4 and select the currency 2 which we have defined it. So we selected USD. Enter. Then currency 3. So we have given 40 here. Enter. So before you create, you can see here. Now here you can see it is a given your consistency check, very important. So it says that we have activated new ledger accounting. Yes, we are working now with the migration concept. Now you want to assign a new ledger to the company code that has been added. Yes. If the company code is already used in your production system, we need to cancel the assignment and start by activating the migration service. If the company code is not used in your production system, you can save the assignment. However, note that the restrictions listed under information. Is the ledger assigned to company code that is used productively? So here if you say yes, so later on you cannot make any changes to the production system. So that is why what you have to do is you have to maintain it as no, because you are not going to work on the production system right now, and the complete migration concept has not been done. So that is why we say here no. So when you say no, it would give you information. Okay. This is not our company code, right? Sorry. Enter. Click on new entries. So our company code was 880. Then C2, hit F4 and select. Then come C3, hit F4. And select. So FV is again your variant, fiscal year variant. So select your fiscal year variant here. So we created our variant as 88. Enter. Click on no. Save the data. So this is the completely new enhancement or the new feature in your SAP Simple Finance HANA. This is nowhere there in the ECC version. Go back. Now, so this is again very important. Like for this particular ledgers, you need to assign the scenarios. So you should assign the scenarios as well as the customer fields for your particular uh, ledgers, whatever you have created. So these are the standard scenarios what we have here. So assign scenarios and customer fields to your ledgers. So click on ing activity. So click on position. So scenarios, you're going to assign it to your non-leading ledgers itself. So NL, give your non-leading ledger, enter. Select the row, double click on scenarios. New entries. So altogether we have 6 scenarios. So whatever the client or the business requires, that particular scenario can be assigned over here. 6 standard. So we can define or we can go with the our own configured things also. Now, so we would first assign the scenario related to your fixed assets reporting. So segment reporting for fixed assets. So fixed assets can be viewed in different currencies. Then we would go for cost center update. So which is also a mandatory scenario to be assigned. Then business area. JSBR is the field name for your business area. GES, GS, VDR. Then also we will go with cost of sales accounting. As if now we would update the 4 scenarios. Okay, so you have to check whether your cost center is activate or not. So as if now, let us not maintain the cost center. Now enter. Select the row, double click on customer fields. Now here you are going to maintain the customer field. So your receiver field is what is your region. So you can maintain the region also. As if now I'm not maintaining any regions. Let us go for version, new entries. So here we work with the standard version. So if you hit F1, we will find the details of your standard versions. Always we will go with the standard version called 001. Enter, save. So this has impact when you view your report. So segment reporting. So we can view this particular non-ledger reports in different type of currencies or country laws. Go back. Go back. Now activate cost of sales accounting. So this is again a new enhancement given in cost of sales, that is sales department. So this have to be activated. So before you add a scenario of cost of sales to your ledger, so this cost of sales accounting should be in an activate mode. So first we would activate that. So activate cost of sales accounting, path is SPRO, SAP reference IMG, financial accounting global settings, ledgers, ledger. Then we have activate cost of sales accounting. Before we enter into that, let us have a documentation of sales of activating. So let's see what is the cost of sales accounting, because This is important here in controlling in SAP S/4HANA. Controlling is not a separate module. So controlling itself is integrated with the FI things. So your cost center updates are mandatory. So to know that concepts, so we should know the prior or the basic concepts in detail. So what is cost of sales accounting here says is, it is a type of profit and loss statement that matches the sales revenues to the costs or expenses involved in making the revenue. So it is a type or it is a type of profit and loss statement. So cost of sales accounting is nothing but one of the type of cost of sales. So we can see a cost of sales accounting. It says it is a type of profit and loss statement that matches the sales revenues to the costs or expenses involved in making the revenue. So these are the expenses which are listed in your cost of sales, such as your manufacturing related expenses, management related expenses, sales and distribution related expenses are maintained in your cost of sales accounting, and it displays how the costs were incurred. So in cost of sales accounting, we will be reading that how the costs incurred, how the expenses are incurred in this particular functional area. So this means that when you post these company posts, the functional areas are derived and updated. So to activate cost of sales accounting, first you have to do at least one of the setting. So let's say we have done that. Assign a functional area to the master data of the cost assignment objects. You can maintain the functional area, and you have defined and activated a substitution. So we would first define a functional area, then we would maintain this cost of sales of activating. So when you enter here, activate cost of sales of accounting, so here position. So when you click on position, you can see your company code, give your company code, enter. So we can see. So as if now your cost of status is in inactive mode. So now let us maintain active. Enter, enter, save. So for this, another activity to be done is we need to define the functional area. So let us maintain the functional area first. So that we have to do in the enterprise structure configuration. Definition, financial accounting, here we are. Define functional area, and the transaction code for the same is OKBT. So new entries. So we would also maintain the functional area. Enter, save. Save it in the request. Go back. So if we assign this particular functional area to company code, then the cost of sales completes the process. So here we don't have a concept of assigning the functional area to company code. Now let's see. Now the next is define ledger group. So here you're going to maintain the ledger group. So define ledger group, path is same. So you're going to maintain your ledger group as its NL, your non-leading ledger. Click on new entries or click on position. First we would see whether our ledger group is available NL. Yes. So select your ledger group, double click on ledger assignment. So here already your ledger assignment will be done because in the prior steps we have assigned to that particular NL ledger as a ledger itself, and it says it is a representative ledger. So let's read or let's understand what is your representative ledger. Here it is a ledger within a ledger group which is used to determine and check the posting period during postings. So here it will update with your posting period. So posting periods is affected or impacted with this particular ledger group. And we must designate exactly one ledger in a ledger group as a representative ledger. So any one ledger you have to maintain it. 0L will be always a representative ledger. Apart from 0L, if there are any non-leading ledgers, even that have to be maintained. And the representative ledger of a ledger group is used to control. So what is the impact of this representative ledger is when we do postings, it will determine the posting period. It will also check whether the posting period is open or not. When you post in this non-ledger, then it will tell you whether the posting period is open or not. After determining and checking the posting period, the system makes postings to all assigned ledgers of the ledger group depending on the fiscal year variant of each individual ledger. So when posting period of the representative ledger is open, so there is a one caution point also. The postings are made to all the assigned ledgers even if their posting periods are closed. So you should be very keen here that if that particular representative ledger is open, if they are doing the postings, even if the closing, if the period is closed, if you are doing any postings with this particular representative ledger, the postings will be successfully posted. So you should be very careful when you maintain the representative ledger. So enter, save. So if you see, there is no addition possible because by default it has been done in your earlier steps. Enter, save, go back. So this we have done this particular settings in this year. Here, define and activate non-leading ledger. When we do this step, there itself it has been updated. So in our next class, we will be learning about the parallel accounting concepts where we have to maintain the accounting principles. So what accounting principles you're maintaining? So parallel accounting concept is used when if you want to maintain the reports in different accounting principles, different countries accounting principles. So you have to create the accounting principles of that particular country and assign that to your ledger group. So 0L or OL is always your standard ledger group, which is a leading ledger group, which will be always your company code related. So if you want to do a segment reporting, then yes, you have to maintain accounting principles and assign that accounting principles to that particular ledger groups. So that we will be learning in our next session. Thank you.